In the grim darkness of the far future, where countless Xenos races threaten the survival of humanity, the Deathwatch stands as a shield against annihilation. Born from necessity and steeped in secrecy, they are not merely warriors, but a brotherhood forged in blood and bound by unyielding duty. Their sole purpose is to confront and eliminate alien threats wherever they arise, wielding specialized tactics and knowledge that make them unparalleled hunters of the Xenos. But how did this elite force come to be? To understand their inception, we must delve into the heart of the Imperium's struggle against alien incursions, an eternal war waged across millennia. Unlike other Adeptus Astartes chapters, whose primary concern lies with safeguarding their territories or serving specific objectives, the Deathwatch operates outside the boundaries of conventional loyalty. Their allegiance is to humanity as a whole, serving under the command of the Ordo Xenos of the Inquisition. They are drawn from every corner of the Imperium, representing countless chapters, each Space Marine bringing their chapter's unique expertise and traditions into this united covert force. The Imperium's struggle with Xenos is as ancient as the Imperium itself. Since the dawn of the Great Crusade, humanity has faced a galaxy teeming with hostile alien species, beings that view mankind as little more than prey, competition, or a means to an end. The threat posed by these races varies from the existential horror of the Tyranids' endless hunger to the cunning manipulations of the Eldar, the brutal barbarity of the Orcs, and the shadowy subversion of the Genestealer cults. Against such foes, conventional armies often falter, overwhelmed by the Xenos' adaptability and alien technologies. The Deathwatch emerged from this crucible of desperation and ingenuity. While the idea of a specialized task force dedicated to Xenos eradication might seem logical in hindsight, its creation was fraught with challenges. The Imperium's rigid structures and the pride of the Space Marine chapters made cooperation on this scale unprecedented. Yet the necessity of combating a galaxy-spanning threat forced humanity's leaders to embrace a bold, unorthodox solution. In this prologue, we explore the philosophical and strategic imperatives that led to the formation of the Deathwatch. It was not a decision taken lightly, but one forged from the Imperium's greatest trials. The Deathwatch is more than a military force. They are a symbol of unity in the face of an unrelenting enemy, a testament to the resilience of humanity. Their origins lie in the Imperium's darkest hours, a time when survival itself was uncertain. Their rise coincided with the Imperium's growing awareness that defeating the Xenos required more than brute force. It required adaptability, intelligence, and a willingness to embrace methods alien to the Imperium's rigid traditions. The formation of the Deathwatch marked a turning point, a recognition that the Xenos threat demanded an entirely new approach. It was a moment when necessity overruled pride, and cooperation transcended rivalry. In the following sections, we will unravel the tapestry of the Deathwatch's history, from the pivotal figures who brought this vision to life to the battles that defined their legacy. We will examine their technology, their tactics, and the profound impact they have had on the Imperium. Above all, we will explore the question at the heart of their existence. How did the Deathwatch become humanity's ultimate Xenos hunters? The story of the Deathwatch is one of sacrifice, ingenuity, and unwavering resolve, a tale that reveals both the best and the worst of humanity's response to an uncaring universe. It is a story worth telling, not only to understand the Deathwatch's role in the Imperium, but to appreciate the monumental challenges faced by those who dare to stand against the alien tide. Their vigilance has safeguarded humanity for centuries, and their legacy endures as a beacon of hope in a galaxy consumed by war. The Deathwatch is a unique entity within the Imperium of Man, representing an unparalleled collaboration of key players united under a singular specialized mission: the eradication of Xenos threats. Unlike other organizations in the Imperium, which often function independently or with limited coordination, the Deathwatch thrives on synergy, pulling together resources and personnel from diverse factions. Each participant in this intricate structure contributes distinct expertise, shaping the Deathwatch into an unparalleled force against alien adversaries. At the heart of this operation lies the Ordo Xenos, a branch of the Inquisition tasked with overseeing humanity's response to the alien menace. These individuals act as architects and overseers, wielding absolute authority to deploy the Deathwatch where they are most needed. Ordo Xenos Inquisitors are often scholars of Xenos biology, culture, and tactics, blending academic insight with ruthless pragmatism. Their directives guide the Deathwatch's campaigns, ensuring every operation is tailored to exploit the weaknesses of specific alien threats. While their methods often provoke controversy, ranging from sanctioned exterminatus orders to radical collaborations with captured Xenos technologies, they remain a driving force behind the Deathwatch's success. Complementing the Inquisition's strategic oversight are the Astartes themselves, the warriors of the Deathwatch. Recruited from countless Space Marine chapters across the galaxy, these individuals are not bound by their original allegiances during their tenure in the Deathwatch. Instead, they pledge their loyalty to the chapter's cause and adopt a new ethos centered on cooperation and adaptability. This practice allows the Deathwatch to combine the distinctive strengths of different chapters into a single cohesive unit. The melee expertise of one brother might be complemented by the sharpshooting prowess of another, while veterans from siege-focused chapters bring knowledge of breaching and fortifications. Each Space Marine inducted into the Deathwatch undergoes rigorous training designed to push even these superhuman warriors beyond their limits. Combat doctrines are adapted to incorporate a broader understanding of Xenos physiologies, technologies, and tactics. This unification of expertise is a stark contrast to the often insular nature of individual chapters, which typically focus on their own battle strategies and traditions. This adaptability is key to the Deathwatch's identity, enabling them to counter alien threats with precision and efficiency. Another critical player in this equation is the Tech Marine cadre, whose contributions extend far beyond maintenance. These skilled engineers, many of whom have trained with the Adeptus Mechanicus, specialize in augmenting standard war gear with modifications tailored for Xenos-specific engagements. They adapt weapons to counteract exotic alien defenses, calibrate void shields to withstand peculiar energy signatures, and even reverse engineer captured alien technology for Imperial use. Though this role often places them in moral and ideological conflict with their Mechanicus brethren, their contributions are invaluable in maintaining the Deathwatch's technological edge. A lesser-known but equally significant contributor to the Deathwatch's operations is the cadre of intelligence operatives working within the Ordo Xenos. These agents are tasked with gathering critical data about alien species, often venturing into perilous situations to observe and infiltrate Xenos societies. Their findings inform Deathwatch strategies, ensuring operations are based on the most accurate and up-to-date intelligence possible. These agents operate in the shadows, their work rarely recognized but integral to the Deathwatch's ability to strike with surgical precision. Key alien threats themselves often shape the composition and strategies of the Deathwatch. While the Tyranids, Orcs, and Eldar are perennial enemies, the Deathwatch frequently faces lesser-known or emergent Xenos species, adapting their tactics to match these unpredictable foes. The Deathwatch's readiness to engage with a wide variety of threats distinguishes them from other Imperial forces, which often struggle to adapt to the galaxy's ever-changing dangers. Lastly, the Deathwatch's leadership structure is uniquely suited to its mission. Watch commanders, typically veterans of countless Xenos engagements, oversee the operations of individual watch fortresses scattered across the galaxy. These leaders embody the collective wisdom of their force, synthesizing the knowledge of the Ordo Xenos with the practical insights of their battle-hardened warriors. Their decisions determine the success or failure of campaigns, making them among the most strategically significant figures within the Imperium. Together, these factions and individuals create an intricate web of collaboration and expertise. Each contributes a vital piece to the Deathwatch's mission, ensuring that humanity remains equipped to face the galaxy's most formidable Xenos threats. Their ability to synthesize the disparate elements of the Imperium into a focused, effective force is a testament to the Deathwatch's unique position within the grim darkness of the far future. The formation of the Deathwatch as humanity's ultimate Xenos hunters was not a singular event, but a gradual response to escalating challenges that threatened the Imperium's very survival. The galaxy has always been hostile, teeming with alien species that view humanity as prey, rivals, or resources. This constant tension, combined with the Imperium's inherent rigidity, created the need for a specialized force capable of addressing the diverse and evolving threats posed by alien races. The seeds of this necessity were sown during the Imperium's expansionist period, where early contact with alien civilizations underscored the galaxy's dangers. While the Imperium's conventional military forces, such as the Imperial Guard and individual Space Marine chapters, could hold their own against many foes, these forces often struggled against the adaptability and unpredictability of Xenos adversaries. Early attempts to combat alien threats relied heavily on overwhelming force, leading to costly campaigns and Pyrrhic victories. Over time, it became clear that a more nuanced approach was required, one that combined targeted intelligence, adaptability, and specialized tactics. The increasing sophistication of alien incursions further highlighted the need for a dedicated force. Xenos species like the Eldar, with their unmatched manipulation of the warp and precision strikes, demonstrated the limits of brute strength. The Tyranids, an endless swarm of biological perfection, overwhelmed traditional defenses with their sheer numbers and adaptability. Meanwhile, the cunning and technological ingenuity of species such as the Necrons or Toh demanded responses beyond the capabilities of many Imperial forces. These threats exposed critical weaknesses in the Imperium's ability to respond effectively. Another contributing factor was the fractured nature of humanity's military structure. Individual Space Marine chapters often viewed themselves as self-contained entities, bound by their own traditions and doctrines. While this autonomy allowed for the cultivation of unique combat specializations, it also limited the Imperium's ability to mount unified responses to galaxy-wide threats. Rivalries between chapters further complicated cooperation, as did the isolationist tendencies of many worlds and factions within the Imperium. The lack of a centralized force specifically dedicated to combating Xenos left humanity vulnerable to coordinated or unexpected alien attacks. The tipping point came with the realization that conventional strategies and rivalries could no longer be sustained in the face of the galaxy's relentless dangers. The Imperium's rulers, led by the Inquisition's Ordo Xenos, recognized that a solution had to be found, one that transcended the divisions and rigid hierarchies of existing institutions. This required not only a shift in strategy, but a willingness to embrace innovation and cooperation, traits often resisted within the Imperium's dogmatic framework. One of the most important factors leading to the creation of the Deathwatch was the gradual accumulation of knowledge about Xenos species. Over centuries, the Ordo Xenos compiled extensive data on alien cultures, technologies, and combat techniques. This information revealed patterns in how Xenos species operated and offered insights into their weaknesses. However, merely possessing knowledge was not enough. It needed to be applied by a force capable of acting on it with precision. This realization played a pivotal role in shaping the concept of the Deathwatch. Additionally, the Imperium's growing dependence on specialized tactics became evident during key conflicts against Xenos powers. On numerous occasions, ad hoc task forces drawn from various Space Marine chapters had achieved remarkable success in neutralizing alien threats. These temporary alliances served as proof of concept for a more permanent solution, demonstrating that collaboration and specialization could yield results far superior to those achieved by standard forces. Finally, the cultural and ideological landscape of the Imperium also contributed to the Deathwatch's formation. While many within the Imperium viewed Xenos as an existential threat to be eradicated at all costs, others within the Ordo Xenos saw value in studying and understanding alien species. This duality of purpose created the conditions for a force that could balance extermination with strategic insight, ensuring that every action served the broader goal of preserving humanity. The Deathwatch emerged as a direct response to these cumulative pressures, a solution born of necessity and forged in the fires of adversity. Their creation marked a significant evolution in the Imperium's approach to warfare, one that acknowledged the limitations of existing structures and embraced the potential of unity and adaptability. By synthesizing the expertise of the Ordo Xenos with the martial prowess of the Space Marines, the Deathwatch became humanity's answer to the galaxy's most pressing dangers. Their rise was a turning point in the Imperium's struggle for survival, setting the stage for centuries of relentless vigilance against the Xenos menace. The evolution of the Deathwatch into humanity's ultimate hunters of alien threats unfolded across a series of critical milestones. These events, driven by necessity, experimentation, and adaptation, transformed a bold concept into a finely tuned war machine that has endured for millennia. Each stage of their development reflects the Imperium's response to the escalating Xenos threat and highlights the ingenuity of those who shaped this elite force. The earliest phase of the Deathwatch's formation was marked by small experimental deployments initiated by the Ordo Xenos. These initial task forces were drawn from a handful of Space Marine chapters and focused on tackling localized alien infestations that traditional forces had failed to contain. These missions often operated under the direct supervision of inquisitors, who provided critical intelligence and guidance. Despite being rudimentary by later standards, these early efforts demonstrated the effectiveness of combining specialized expertise and cross-chapter collaboration, laying the groundwork for a more permanent structure. The next major stage came with the establishment of the first Watch fortresses. These fortified outposts served as operational hubs, enabling the Deathwatch to consolidate resources and coordinate long-term campaigns against Xenos threats. Each fortress was strategically located in regions plagued by alien activity, allowing the Deathwatch to respond swiftly to emerging dangers. The fortresses also became centers for training and intelligence sharing, fostering a culture of adaptability and innovation that distinguished the Deathwatch from other Imperial forces. With the foundation of the Watch fortresses, the recruitment and training of Deathwatch operatives became more formalized. Space Marines from diverse chapters were selected for their exceptional skills and willingness to set aside their traditional loyalties in service of a greater cause. This period also saw the introduction of advanced Xenos-specific training regimens, where recruits learned to analyze alien behaviors, exploit vulnerabilities, and utilize unconventional tactics. The integration of this knowledge into their combat doctrines marked a turning point in the Deathwatch's effectiveness, enabling them to confront even the most elusive and formidable Xenos foes. The refinement of the Deathwatch's operational methods occurred during several high-profile campaigns against alien threats. One pivotal moment was their involvement in the suppression of a massive Orc Wach that threatened to overrun a critical sector. Utilizing guerrilla tactics and precision strikes, the Deathwatch managed to decapitate the Wach's leadership and disrupt its momentum, achieving victory where larger Imperial forces had faltered. This success solidified their reputation as specialists capable of achieving the impossible and inspired the expansion of their mandate. Another defining chapter in the Deathwatch's history was their growing reliance on advanced technology and specialized war gear. Working closely with the Ordo Xenos and Tech Marine cadres, the Deathwatch began incorporating tools and weaponry specifically designed to counter Xenos physiology and defenses. For example, they developed unique ammunition types capable of penetrating alien bioarmor or disrupting energy fields, as well as devices for neutralizing exotic warp-based threats. This focus on tailored equipment became a hallmark of the Deathwatch, further distinguishing them from other Imperial forces. As the Deathwatch's reputation grew, so did the scale and complexity of their missions. They transitioned from localized engagements to galaxy-spanning operations, taking on roles that ranged from surgical strikes against alien leaders to large-scale extermination campaigns. Their adaptability became one of their greatest strengths, allowing them to operate in diverse environments and confront an ever-expanding array of alien species. This evolution was driven not only by necessity, but also by the increasing trust placed in the Deathwatch by the Ordo Xenos and other Imperial authorities. Throughout their history, the Deathwatch's leadership structure also underwent significant evolution. Initially led by senior inquisitors and ad hoc commanders, the force eventually adopted a more formal hierarchy centered around watch commanders. These seasoned veterans, often chosen from the ranks of the Deathwatch itself, provided strategic oversight and ensured the consistency of their operations across the galaxy. This leadership model allowed the Deathwatch to maintain their cohesion and focus despite the diversity of their origins. A significant milestone came with the codification of the Deathwatch's doctrines and traditions. Over centuries of service, their accumulated experiences were compiled into comprehensive manuals and training programs, ensuring that future generations of operatives could benefit from the hard-won knowledge of their predecessors. This institutional memory became a vital asset, allowing the Deathwatch to refine their strategies and stay ahead of their adversaries. Finally, the Deathwatch's integration into the broader framework of the Inquisition marked the culmination of their evolution. While they retained operational independence, their close ties to the Ordo Xenos ensured a steady flow of intelligence, resources, and support. This relationship enabled the Deathwatch to focus on their primary mission without being bogged down by the bureaucratic constraints that often hampered other Imperial forces. These milestones collectively transformed the Deathwatch from a bold experiment into humanity's most formidable weapon against the Xenos threat. Each stage of their development reflected a commitment to adaptability, innovation, and unity, qualities that remain at the core of their identity. Today, the Deathwatch stands as a testament to the Imperium's ability to evolve in the face of an ever-changing galaxy, their legacy defined by their relentless pursuit of humanity's survival. The turning point that solidified the Deathwatch as humanity's ultimate Xenos hunters was not a single moment, but a critical convergence of events, decisions, and battles that demonstrated their necessity and capability. Among these, one stands out as the defining moment: the War of the Cryptis system. This conflict not only tested the limits of the Deathwatch's operational effectiveness, but also cemented their role as the Imperium's foremost experts in combating alien threats. The Cryptis system was a vital Imperial sector, home to numerous hive worlds, agri-worlds, and a strategic trade route. When it became the target of a massive Tyranid invasion, spearheaded by the Hive Fleet Leviathan, the scale of the threat was unprecedented. The sheer biomass of the Tyranids threatened to overwhelm not only the system, but potentially open a pathway for further incursions into the Imperium's core territories. Standard military responses, including the mobilization of the Imperial Navy and the Astra Militarum, proved insufficient against the adaptable and relentless swarm. It was clear that defeating the Tyranids would require a level of precision and expertise beyond the capabilities of conventional forces. The Ordo Xenos quickly identified the Deathwatch as the only force capable of halting the Hive Fleet's advance. A watch fortress near the system was activated, and its resources were brought to bear in a campaign that would push the Deathwatch to their limits. Under the leadership of a seasoned watch commander, a series of strike teams were assembled, each tailored to exploit specific vulnerabilities within the Tyranid swarm. This marked a pivotal shift in how the Deathwatch operated, emphasizing not only their martial prowess, but their ability to integrate intelligence and strategy into decisive action. The key decision during the Cryptis campaign was to focus on eliminating the synaptic network that coordinated the Hive Fleet. This required the Deathwatch to target key bioforms, such as Tyranid hive tyrants and neurothropes, while simultaneously disrupting their ability to adapt to the rapidly changing battlefield. The strike teams were deployed deep behind enemy lines, often operating in isolation and with limited support. Their success hinged on precise coordination, adaptability, and a deep understanding of Tyrannid biology and tactics. One of the most critical operations of the campaign involved a surgical strike on a massive Tyrannid bioship that served as a spawning vessel for new bioforms. This mission required the Deathwatch to infiltrate the ship, plant high-yield explosives, and escape before its destruction. The team selected for this mission represented the best of the Deathwatch, including specialists in stealth, demolition, and heavy assault. Despite encountering overwhelming odds, the team succeeded in crippling the bioship, disrupting the High Fleet's ability to replenish its forces and buying valuable time for the Imperium to reinforce its defenses. Another turning point came during the defense of the hive world of Asphodex. Here, the Deathwatch coordinated with local forces to hold key positions against wave after wave of Tyrannid assaults. By employing their specialized tactics, such as targeting critical synaptic organisms and using unconventional weapons adapted to combat Tyrannid physiology, they were able to turn the tide of battle. Their presence not only bolstered the morale of the defenders, but demonstrated the effectiveness of their methods to Imperial commanders, further legitimizing their role within the Imperium's war machine. The success of the Cryptus campaign was not without cost. Many of the Deathwatch operatives involved in the conflict made the ultimate sacrifice, their actions ensuring the survival of countless billions. However, their efforts also highlighted the necessity of a dedicated force capable of addressing Xenos threats on this scale. The lessons learned during the campaign were quickly integrated into Deathwatch doctrine, refining their strategies and solidifying their role as humanity's shield against alien incursions. The War of the Cryptus system became a case study for the Deathwatch's effectiveness, influencing future decisions about their deployment and operational independence. It also strengthened the bonds between the Deathwatch and the Ordo Xenos, as the success of the campaign relied heavily on the integration of intelligence, strategy, and execution. The ability of the Deathwatch to operate autonomously while still coordinating with other Imperial forces set a new standard for how the Imperium approached the Xenos threat. This critical moment in the Deathwatch's history marked their transition from a specialized task force to a central pillar of the Imperium's defense against alien threats. It proved that the Deathwatch was not just a reactionary force, but a proactive, adaptive entity capable of shaping the outcome of conflicts that would otherwise doom entire sectors. The decisions made during the Cryptus campaign and the sacrifices endured ensured the survival of humanity in one of its darkest hours and solidified the Deathwatch's place as the ultimate Xenos hunters. The Deathwatch's emergence as humanity's foremost Xenos hunters has had profound and far-reaching consequences across the Imperium. Their impact is felt not only on the battlefield, but in the political, technological, and cultural spheres of Imperial life. Their existence has reshaped humanity's approach to alien threats, influencing both military strategy and the collective psyche of the Imperium's countless citizens. One of the most immediate and tangible effects is the enhanced ability of the Imperium to combat alien incursions. The Deathwatch's presence in key sectors often means the difference between survival and annihilation for countless worlds. Their ability to deploy small, elite strike forces ensures that Xenos threats can be neutralized before escalating into full-blown wars, sparing the Imperium from resource-draining conflicts. By targeting alien leaders, disabling critical infrastructure, and undermining the cohesion of Xenos forces, the Deathwatch disrupts enemy operations with unparalleled precision. Their success has also transformed how the Imperium views and organizes its military forces. Traditional Imperial strategies often relied on sheer numbers and overwhelming firepower, a doctrine ill-suited to the galaxy's more adaptable and elusive alien foes. The Deathwatch's methods, focused on adaptability, intelligence, and specialization, have inspired other branches of the military to adopt more flexible approaches. Though the rigid bureaucracy of the Imperium resists change, some commanders have begun to integrate Deathwatch tactics into their own doctrines, recognizing their effectiveness in asymmetrical warfare. The Deathwatch's influence extends beyond the battlefield, shaping the political landscape of the Imperium. Their close association with the Ordo Xenos ensures that alien threats remain a top priority for Imperial policy. Inquisitors working with the Deathwatch often wield considerable influence, using the success of Deathwatch campaigns to justify the allocation of resources and the enactment of harsh measures against perceived Xenos sympathizers. This has led to heightened scrutiny of alien interactions within the Imperium, with stricter enforcement of anti-Xenos laws and increased surveillance of trade and travel in alien-occupied regions. The technological advancements developed in conjunction with the Deathwatch have also had a ripple effect across the Imperium. Their reliance on specialized weaponry, such as advanced ammunition and tailored war gear, has driven innovation within the Adeptus Mechanicus. While these technologies are often restricted to the Deathwatch due to their sensitive nature, the principles behind their design have inspired broader advancements in the Imperium's arsenal. This has improved humanity's ability to confront a wider range of threats, not only from aliens, but also from internal uprisings and warp-spawn dangers. Culturally, the Deathwatch serves as a potent symbol of humanity's resilience and unity in the face of existential threats. Their ability to integrate warriors from diverse chapters, each with its own traditions and rivalries, demonstrates that even the most fragmented elements of the Imperium can work together for a common cause. This message resonates deeply within a galaxy where division often leads to catastrophe. The Deathwatch's victories are celebrated as proof that humanity can prevail against seemingly insurmountable odds, providing a rare source of hope in an otherwise grim and oppressive existence. At the same time, the Deathwatch's activities have also instilled a deep-seated fear of Xenos throughout the Imperium. Their campaigns often reveal the true extent of the alien menace, shattering the illusion that humanity's enemies are distant or insignificant. This fear has been weaponized by the Ordo Xenos and other Imperial authorities to maintain control, justifying harsh measures in the name of survival. Propaganda highlighting the Deathwatch's battles often emphasizes the horrors of the Xenos, reinforcing the Imperium's xenophobic ideology and discouraging any attempts at coexistence or understanding. For the Deathwatch themselves, their role as humanity's ultimate defenders comes at a cost. The operatives who serve in their ranks are forever changed by their experiences, burdened by the knowledge of the galaxy's darkest secrets. Their missions often require them to make difficult moral choices, sacrificing entire populations or annihilating alien species to safeguard humanity. This relentless burden of duty creates a unique culture within the Deathwatch, one defined by stoicism, sacrifice, and an unwavering focus on the greater good. Perhaps the most significant consequence of the Deathwatch's existence is the delicate balance they maintain between knowledge and destruction. By studying Xenos physiology, tactics, and technology, they gain the insights necessary to defeat alien threats. However, this very knowledge poses a danger to the Imperium's rigid doctrines, which often view innovation and understanding as heretical. The Deathwatch walks a fine line, their successes celebrated, but their methods scrutinized, embodying the paradox of an Imperium that must evolve to survive, but fears the consequences of change. The Deathwatch's impact on the Imperium is multifaceted and enduring. They have redefined how humanity confronts alien threats, demonstrating the value of unity, adaptability, and specialization in a galaxy of endless dangers. Their presence serves as both a shield and a reminder of the Imperium's precarious existence, ensuring that humanity remains ever vigilant in the face of its Xenos adversaries. As the Deathwatch continues its mission, their influence will undoubtedly shape the fate of the Imperium for millennia to come. The Deathwatch's rise to prominence as the Imperium's ultimate Xenos hunters is rooted in the unique aspects that distinguish them from all other military forces in the galaxy. These elements, ranging from their organizational structure to their combat methodologies, have been carefully honed to address the myriad alien threats that humanity faces. Their unparalleled efficiency stems from a combination of innovative approaches, specialized tools, and an adaptive mindset that sets them apart from the rigid traditions of other Imperial forces. One of the most defining aspects of the Deathwatch is their recruitment process. Unlike traditional forces that rely on mass conscription or the upbringing of recruits within a single culture, the Deathwatch selects its warriors from the elite ranks of the Adeptus Astartes. Every operative is handpicked based on their exceptional skills, prior experience with Xenos, or unique combat abilities. This diverse recruitment pool ensures that the Deathwatch is a melting pot of tactical expertise, with warriors bringing a wide array of knowledge and techniques from their parent chapters. This variety of perspectives and skill sets is critical to their success, allowing them to approach each mission with a multifaceted strategy tailored to the specific alien threat they face. The integration of these disparate elements into a unified fighting force is another hallmark of the Deathwatch. While individual chapters of Space Marines are known for their deeply ingrained traditions and combat doctrines, the Deathwatch demands that its operatives adapt and evolve. This adaptability is fostered through rigorous training programs that emphasize Xenos-specific combat techniques, infiltration, and unconventional warfare. Operatives learn to think beyond the dogma of their origins, embracing new methodologies and approaches that enable them to overcome the unique challenges posed by alien adversaries. Their arsenal further exemplifies their specialization. Standard-issue weapons and equipment often fall short against the advanced technologies and biological adaptations of Xenos species, prompting the Deathwatch to employ customized war gear tailored to each mission. For instance, their bolters are often equipped with specialized ammunition, such as rounds designed to penetrate the dense carapaces of Tyranid bioforms or disrupt the energy fields of Eldar constructs. These innovations extend to their defensive measures, with armor enhancements that protect against exotic weaponry and environmental hazards encountered during their operations. The Deathwatch's use of Xenos technology, though controversial within the Imperium, is a critical aspect of their effectiveness. While the broader Imperium shuns alien artifacts as heretical, the Deathwatch recognizes the tactical advantages of understanding and, in some cases, utilizing such technologies. This pragmatic approach allows them to turn the strengths of their enemies against them, a practice that has been instrumental in many of their victories. However, this aspect of their operations is tightly controlled, with strict protocols in place to prevent the spread or misuse of alien artifacts. Their operational structure also sets them apart. Unlike most Imperial forces, which are organized into large hierarchical units, the Deathwatch operates through highly flexible and autonomous kill teams. These small elite squads are designed for maximum efficiency and adaptability, with each member contributing a unique set of skills. This decentralized approach allows the Deathwatch to respond rapidly to emerging threats, deploying strike teams to key locations without the delays associated with larger military campaigns. The Deathwatch's intelligence network is another critical factor in their success. As a direct extension of the Ordo Xenos, they have access to an unparalleled wealth of information about alien species, including their weaknesses, behavioral patterns, and tactics. This intelligence is gathered through a combination of field reconnaissance, analysis of captured artifacts, and the interrogation of alien prisoners. The ability to act on this intelligence with precision gives the Deathwatch a significant advantage, allowing them to anticipate and counter alien strategies before they fully materialize. Culturally, the Deathwatch fosters a unique sense of camaraderie and unity among its operatives. Despite their diverse origins, members of the Deathwatch develop a shared identity centered on their mission to protect humanity. This bond is reinforced by the intense and often life-threatening nature of their missions, which demand complete trust and cooperation. Over time, this sense of unity transcends the rivalries and prejudices that might exist between different chapters, creating a cohesive and highly motivated fighting force. Their adaptability extends to their tactics, which are often unconventional by Imperial standards. The Deathwatch is not bound by the rigid doctrines that govern most of the Imperium's military forces, allowing them to employ strategies such as guerrilla warfare, sabotage, and psychological operations. This flexibility is particularly crucial when dealing with Xenos species whose behaviors and capabilities defy human understanding. By constantly evolving their tactics, the Deathwatch ensures that they remain one step ahead of their enemies. Finally, the Deathwatch's ability to maintain secrecy is a critical component of their operations. Many of their missions are conducted in complete isolation, with no outside support or knowledge of their activities. This ensures that the broader Imperium remains unaware of the true scale of the Xenos threat, preserving morale and preventing widespread panic. Their ability to operate in the shadows, striking swiftly and decisively, has earned them a reputation as humanity's hidden blade, a force that exists solely to protect, no matter the cost. These unique aspects, combined with their unwavering dedication and adaptability, have made the Deathwatch an indispensable part of the Imperium's defense against the galaxy's alien horrors. Their methods, while unorthodox, are a testament to the lengths humanity must go to survive in a universe filled with enemies that defy comprehension. The Deathwatch's legacy as humanity's foremost Xenos hunters is shaped not only by its collective might, but by the remarkable individuals who have played pivotal roles in its history. These figures, warriors, leaders, and visionaries, have left indelible marks on the organization, exemplifying the courage, adaptability, and sacrifice required to face the galaxy's most dangerous alien threats. Among the most celebrated Watch commanders in the Deathwatch's history is Commander Mordelai of the Jericho Reach. Known for his tactical brilliance, Mordelai was instrumental in orchestrating the Deathwatch's campaigns during the Achilles Crusade. Faced with the overwhelming Xenos menace of High Fleet Dagon, Mordelai devised a series of strategies that targeted key synaptic creatures within the Tyranid swarm. His ability to coordinate multiple kill teams across vast distances ensured that the Deathwatch struck with precision and devastating effect. Mordelai's leadership not only preserved the integrity of the Crusade, but also demonstrated the Deathwatch's unique capacity to counter threats that would otherwise cripple traditional Imperial forces. Another iconic figure is Brother Chaplain Helbrecht, a warrior whose unwavering faith and leadership united the often diverse members of the Deathwatch. Helbrecht's tenure saw the Deathwatch engage in a prolonged campaign against the enigmatic Eldar. His ability to inspire loyalty and resolve among his comrades was critical in maintaining cohesion during these protracted battles. Helbrecht's personal prowess in combat, particularly during the Battle of Wraithspire, where he led the charge against a deadly Eldar ambush, solidified his reputation as a beacon of hope and strength for the Deathwatch. From the realm of specialists, the name of Brother Xenos of the Raven Guard stands out. A master of infiltration and reconnaissance, Xenos played a crucial role in several high-stakes missions where stealth was paramount. His ability to operate undetected within enemy-held territory allowed the Deathwatch to gather vital intelligence on emerging Xenos threats. Most famously, Xenos infiltrated a Necron tomb world, sabotaging their awakening protocols and delaying a planetary-scale invasion. His actions saved an entire sector from annihilation and highlighted the importance of unconventional warfare within the Deathwatch's repertoire. Techmarine Varlock of the Iron Hands chapter is another individual whose contributions have left a lasting legacy. Renowned for his expertise in adapting alien technology for Imperial use, Varlock was pivotal in developing many of the Deathwatch's unique war gear innovations. During a campaign against the Tau Empire, Varlock devised countermeasures to neutralize their advanced targeting systems, enabling the Deathwatch to close the gap against the otherwise superior ranged firepower of the Tau. His work bridged the gap between combat efficiency and the Imperium's rigid restrictions on Xenos technology, ensuring that the Deathwatch remained at the forefront of innovation. From the Ordo Xenos itself, Inquisitor Malien Tavrak is remembered as a driving force behind the expansion and refinement of the Deathwatch's operational doctrine. Tevrak's keen understanding of Xenos psychology and tactics enabled her to direct the Deathwatch with remarkable precision. Her tenure saw the introduction of deeper collaborations between Inquisitors and Watch commanders, ensuring that intelligence and strategy were seamlessly integrated into Deathwatch missions. Tevrak's insights into the behavior of Genestealer cults led to a series of successful purges that eradicated several infestations before they could reach critical mass. Sergeant Darnath of the Ultramarines is another legendary figure within the Deathwatch. A veteran of countless campaigns, Darnath became synonymous with perseverance and tenacity. His unyielding resolve was most evident during the siege of Gryphonspire, where he held the line against an orc horde for days, buying enough time for reinforcements to arrive. Darnath's actions exemplified the Deathwatch's ability to withstand even the most overwhelming odds, earning him a place of honor among his peers. Librarian Navorus of the Blood Ravens is yet another standout, known for his psychic prowess and his pivotal role in combating warp-infused Xenos threats. Navorus's ability to shield his kill team from the corrupting influence of the Imperium during a mission against a Xenos warp hybrid species was crucial to their survival. His mastery of psychic disciplines not only enhanced the Deathwatch's capabilities, but also ensured their operatives could remain effective even in the most perilous and unnatural environments. Lastly, Watch Captain Artemis holds a special place in the annals of the Deathwatch. As one of the most well-known figures associated with the organization, Artemis exemplifies everything the Deathwatch represents: discipline, adaptability, and an unrelenting commitment to safeguarding humanity. His exploits include leading successful campaigns against Orc Was and intercepting a Tau expansion fleet. Artemis's leadership style, which combines tactical genius with an unwavering moral compass, continues to serve as an inspiration for Deathwatch operatives across the galaxy. These individuals, through their exceptional skill and dedication, have shaped the Deathwatch into the force it is today. Their stories are a testament to the sacrifices required to defend humanity and the ingenuity needed to outwit and overpower the galaxy's most formidable alien threats. Each name etched into the Deathwatch's legacy adds to the weight of their mission, ensuring that the flame of humanity's survival burns ever brighter. Despite their undeniable success and critical role in defending humanity, the Deathwatch is shrouded in mystery, and their history and operations raise numerous unresolved questions and speculative theories. These uncertainties are as much a part of their legacy as their victories, fueling intrigue and debate among scholars, inquisitors, and even their own ranks. One of the most pressing questions concerns the true origins of the Deathwatch. While official records attribute their creation to the Ordo Xenos as a response to the escalating alien threat, there are persistent rumors suggesting they were born out of an older, more secretive organization. Some theorize that the Deathwatch's foundations may have been laid during the earliest days of the Great Crusade, with proto-kill teams designed to study and eradicate alien species encountered during humanity's expansion. This theory raises questions about how much of their doctrine and methodology is genuinely their own, and how much is inherited from forgotten precursors. Another enigma lies in the Deathwatch's relationship with the Ordo Xenos, and by extension, the Inquisition. While the two entities collaborate closely, there is speculation that this partnership is not as harmonious as it seems. Certain radical inquisitors within the Ordo Xenos have been known to push the boundaries of acceptable practice, experimenting with alien technologies and even forming temporary alliances with Xenos factions to achieve strategic goals. How much of this controversial behavior has influenced the Deathwatch remains unclear. Have they participated in such morally ambiguous actions, or do they serve as a counterbalance to the Inquisition's more radical tendencies? The recruitment process of the Deathwatch also raises questions. While it is known that warriors from various chapters are seconded to serve, the criteria for selection are not fully transparent. Some suggest that the Ordo Xenos might have ulterior motives in choosing specific individuals, perhaps to monitor chapters suspected of harboring secrets or heretical tendencies. Others propose that the Deathwatch's operations may serve as a testing ground for theories about the long-term effectiveness of cross-chapter collaboration, raising concerns about whether their warriors are being used as unwitting subjects in experiments rather than purely for their expertise. The secrecy surrounding the Deathwatch's missions has led to speculation about the true scale of the Xenos threat. Some believe that the Deathwatch regularly encounters species or phenomena so dangerous that they are deliberately kept hidden from the rest of the Imperium to avoid mass panic. If this is true, it raises the question of how much the wider Imperium remains ignorant about the galaxy's perils. Are there alien species that even the Inquisition dares not name, and has the Deathwatch been tasked with combating horrors that defy understanding? The Deathwatch's use of Xenos technology is another controversial subject. While they officially claim that such tools are used sparingly and only when absolutely necessary, evidence of highly advanced weaponry and equipment tailored for alien threats suggests otherwise. Some theorists argue that the Deathwatch's reliance on these innovations might blur the line between pragmatism and heresy, creating the possibility that their operatives unknowingly adopt dangerous alien ideologies or practices. Could the very tools they use to protect humanity one day pose a threat to its survival? Perhaps the most disturbing theory revolves around the Deathwatch's ultimate purpose. While their mandate is clear, to protect humanity from alien threats, some speculate that they may serve a deeper, more secretive role. Certain individuals within the Ordo Xenos may view the Deathwatch not merely as hunters of Xenos, but as guardians of forbidden knowledge. This raises the possibility that their true mission includes suppressing discoveries that could disrupt the Imperium's fragile stability, even if such knowledge might benefit humanity in the long term. Are there truths about alien civilizations, technologies, or histories that the Deathwatch has deliberately erased to maintain control? The structure of the Deathwatch itself presents unresolved mysteries. Unlike other Imperial organizations, they operate in an unusually decentralized manner, with each watch fortress enjoying a significant degree of autonomy. While this flexibility is advantageous for their mission, it also opens the door to speculation about potential dissent or rogue elements within their ranks. Could a watch commander, isolated from oversight, pursue an agenda that diverges from the Imperium's official objectives? What safeguards exist to prevent this, and have they ever been tested? Finally, the longevity and secrecy of their campaigns leave many unanswered questions about the fates of individual operatives. Warriors seconded to the Deathwatch often disappear for years, sometimes never returning to their parent chapters. While many are presumed to have fallen in battle, others vanish without explanation. Are their missions so classified that even their participants' fates are erased from history? Or do some operatives choose to remain with the Deathwatch permanently, unable or unwilling to reintegrate into their former lives? These unresolved questions and theories about the Deathwatch add a layer of complexity to their already enigmatic existence. They are a force that operates in the shadows, trusted to safeguard humanity, but scrutinized for the very methods that ensure their success. The mysteries surrounding them are a reminder that, in the grim darkness of the far future, even humanity's protectors are not immune to suspicion and doubt. Their secrets may be their strength, but they also serve as a constant source of tension and intrigue, ensuring that the Deathwatch's legacy remains as enigmatic as it is heroic. The long-term impact of the Deathwatch's evolution into humanity's ultimate Xenos hunters reverberates across the galaxy, shaping the Imperium's approach to alien threats, its military philosophy, and even its cultural and ideological foundations. Their continued existence and success have not only altered the trajectory of countless wars, but also ensured the survival of the Imperium in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. One of the most significant long-term consequences of the Deathwatch's role is their effect on the Imperium's strategic doctrine. Historically, Imperial forces relied on overwhelming numbers and brute force to achieve victory. However, the Deathwatch has demonstrated the value of precision, adaptability, and intelligence-driven operations, proving that smaller, highly trained units can achieve objectives that entire armies cannot. Over time, this has influenced other branches of the Imperial military to adopt elements of this approach, particularly in dealing with unconventional or highly specialized threats. The Deathwatch's successes have also redefined humanity's perception of its place in a hostile galaxy. By neutralizing threats that would otherwise devastate entire sectors, they serve as a reminder of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Their victories have inspired hope and unity among the Imperium's fractured populace, showing that even in the darkest of times, a well-coordinated and determined effort can overcome the galaxy's most formidable adversaries. Their contributions extend beyond direct military engagements. The Deathwatch's accumulated knowledge of alien species and their technologies has influenced everything from battlefield tactics to technological innovation. Though the Imperium is notoriously resistant to change, the practical applications of this knowledge, often filtered through the Ordo Xenos or the Adeptus Mechanicus, have resulted in subtle advancements that improve humanity's ability to defend itself. Even the study of alien cultures, while officially discouraged, has occasionally yielded insights that inform the Imperium's long-term strategies. Culturally, the Deathwatch's legacy has left an indelible mark on the Imperium's collective psyche. They are celebrated as both a symbol of unity and an embodiment of the Imperium's relentless drive to survive. Their ability to bring together warriors from disparate backgrounds to serve a higher purpose has become an aspirational ideal, a rare example of collaboration in an otherwise fractured galaxy. This has inspired countless Imperial citizens, reinforcing the idea that humanity's strength lies not only in its numbers, but in its capacity to adapt and innovate. However, the Deathwatch's impact is not without its darker aspects. Their existence perpetuates and amplifies the Imperium's deeply ingrained xenophobia. The stories of their battles, often told in stark terms, emphasize the alien as an existential threat to humanity. While this serves to rally support for the Imperium's efforts, it also entrenches fear and hostility, discouraging any attempt at coexistence or understanding. This ideological rigidity, while necessary for the Imperium's survival, may also limit its ability to explore alternative methods of dealing with alien species. The secrecy surrounding the Deathwatch's operations has also created long-term challenges. By keeping their missions and the true extent of the Xenos threat hidden from the wider Imperium, they contribute to an atmosphere of ignorance and complacency. While this is intended to maintain morale and order, it also means that the Imperium as a whole remains ill-prepared to confront the full scale of the galaxy's dangers. Should the Deathwatch ever falter or fail, the consequences could be catastrophic, as few other forces possess the knowledge or capability to fill the void they would leave behind. In the broader context of the galaxy, the Deathwatch's actions have had ripple effects on the alien races they combat. By consistently targeting leadership structures, critical assets, and emerging threats, they have forced many Xenos species to adapt their strategies and tactics. While this has often disrupted alien incursions, it has also created an evolutionary arms race, with certain species developing new methods to counter the Deathwatch's effectiveness. This ongoing struggle underscores the precarious balance of power in the galaxy and the constant need for vigilance. For the Deathwatch themselves, the long-term implications of their role are profound. The warriors who serve in their ranks are forever changed by their experiences, carrying the weight of their duty long after their service ends. Many return to their parent chapters with newfound skills and perspectives, enriching their brethren with the knowledge they have gained. Others choose to remain with the Deathwatch indefinitely, dedicating their lives to the cause. This creates a legacy of continuity and expertise that ensures the Deathwatch remains a potent force despite the ever-changing nature of the galaxy's threats. Perhaps the most enduring consequence of the Deathwatch's rise is their influence on the Imperium's sense of identity. They embody the paradox of a galaxy-spanning empire that must embrace innovation and adaptability to survive, even as it clings to its rigid traditions. The Deathwatch stands as a testament to humanity's ability to rise above its limitations, forging a path through the darkness with courage, determination, and ingenuity. Their story is one of triumph against overwhelming odds, a narrative that reinforces the Imperium's resolve to endure no matter the cost. As the galaxy continues to change and new challenges arise, the Deathwatch's role will only grow in importance. Their ability to adapt to an ever-shifting landscape of threats ensures that they remain humanity's best hope against the alien menace. In a universe defined by conflict and uncertainty, their legacy is a beacon of humanity's resilience, a reminder that even in the face of annihilation, there is always a chance to fight back and prevail.